Shalom. I just came to make a quick video. I'm making this video in regards to a thread that popped up about, I would say, a month ago on the Facebook page that I'm on. And the brother asked an economic question, okay, in regards to, is it just or not? Okay. He asked if he had 5 shirts he paid $25 for and got all of them embroidered and sold each shirt for $25. Is that just? Okay. Now, most of the brothers that I heard talking, and these are well-educated teachers in the scriptures and well-educated brothers in the scriptures, 90 to 95% of them said that it was just to sell a $5 shirt with a $5 embroidery on it for $25. Okay. Now, the reason they think this way, and I don't blame them, is because they have been brought up in the capitalist mode of production, and they understand that profit is just. How else will I make a living? I mean, I gotta make profit somehow. You don't make profit by unjustly dealing with your neighbor, okay, or unjustly dealing in business, okay, giving unjust balances, okay. And what do I mean by that? Okay, well, I'll explain it here in a second. Matter of fact, let me get to it. I'm going to read out of the Bible, Leviticus 19, verse 11. Okay. Leviticus 19:11 reads, "You shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another." Okay. This is law. Okay. Now, when you dealing, if you selling a $5 shirt with a $5 embroidery on it, which took you probably $5 in gas to get, and if you divide that $5 in gas by 5, you get $1. So you have to add at $5 embroidery plus that $1 because you got all 5 shirts embroidered. So you would have to divide $1 each shirt for the gas. That would be a $11 shirt total. You're selling for $25, and you say that is just. Okay. Not only are you, if you put a $25 price tag on an $11 shirt, not only are you lying, okay, to whoever you're doing business with, not only are you dealing falsely with whoever you are doing business with, and how are you dealing falsely? Because you're putting a $25 price tag on a shirt that only value is $11. Okay, the value of that shirt is $11, but you put a $25 price tag on it. But you are also stealing from your brother because you are taking money out of this brother's pocket or sister's pocket falsely and telling them that this is a $25 shirt when it's only in reality worth $11. Okay, and brothers be like, well, how else am I gonna make a profit? Okay, well, the key is to understand economics so you don't deal with your brother unjustly. And shoot, I've only been studying economics for a little under a year, and I still have a long way to go. But this is service level understanding of economics if you ever choose to to dive in it. Okay. Verse 13 of the same chapter, Leviticus 19, says, "And thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him." And when you defraud is when you put an unjust price on something, and you are in turn robbing your brother. Okay. And this is for the capitalist system. Listen to this. It says, "The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning." Okay, this is law. This is Torah from the Most High God. But the employers of this nation don't pay a poor person or any person till about 3 weeks later. Okay, the person got to probably buy the boots, the uniform, gas to get back and forth to work. Okay, but you don't pay him until 3 weeks later. But the scriptures say, the wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night, because that poor man has his heart set on that money. But the capitalist system make you wait and make you have to pay for items for the job beforehand. Okay, but I also wanted to read Proverbs 11:1. Okay. Proverbs 11:1 says, "A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." A just weight. Now, we all know that they dealt with weights and balances in business in these so-called biblical times, where a person who was a seller would shave his 15-pound weight to 13 pounds and set it on a scale where it has the number 15 on it, and put 15 pounds worth of another man's things on the scale, and get that 15, or excuse me, he's selling. So he has a 15-pound weight, but it actually only weighs 13 pounds. So whenever he's selling to somebody, he puts only 13 pounds worth of grain on the scale, when it should be 15. So he's keeping 2 pounds back for himself. You understand what I'm saying? Which is dealing falsely. And it's the same in modern times. Although we don't deal with weights and measures, you still deal with weights and measures. How? Because what we're about to understand is labor is the measure point of a just transaction. Labor determines value. So you're actually trading labor for labor. If I work 8 hours doing your roof, you owe me 8 hours of mowing my yard. Now you might mow my yard in 1 hour. So since it took me 8 hours to finish your whole roof, guess how many times you're gonna cut my yard? 8 times, since it's only 1 hour a piece. So you owe me 8 yard cuts for that 8 hours I put in on your roof. That is a just transaction. And if we do a transaction any differently, like if you saying I did 8-hour job and you only gonna give me 5 hours worth of yard cuts, then that is unjust. Okay, the same, and I'm bringing it all back to this shirt thread. Okay, where you selling an $11 shirt for $25, you are unjust and you're robbing from somebody. Okay, you are robbing. Okay, let me get into this book real quick. This book is an economic book called Until This Lasts by John Ruskin. Okay, dealing with political economics. Now listen to what he has to say, and it's important. Excuse me, I got a headache, man. So it says, note first, the exchange. Okay, there can be no profit in it, and he's talking about just exchange. There should be no profit in exchanging. Okay, no profit. Why? Because if you're justly exchanging, you're exchanging equal for equal. You understand? So where is the profit when they're exchanging equal for equal? Okay, there should be no profit in exchange. But like I said, you got these brothers on YouTube, known teachers and students, and a lot of educated brothers, they are just not educated in politics, are saying you can sell a $11 shirt for $25, and that is just. Do you see the disconnect? Hopefully you do. Okay. This brother saying there can be no profit in exchange. It is only in labor there can be profit. What does he mean by that? Only in labor. Like I told you, if I work 8 hours on your roof, okay, I'm putting in labor. So guess what my profit is? 8 hours of something you owe me now. So I got 8 hours of profit, okay, that you owe me in exchange for the 8 hours I put in. But if I never put in any labor, if I just buy a shirt from the damn store and flip it for $15 and I didn't put no labor in it, that is unjust. You can't make profit that way justly. That is unjust. Okay? Let me keep reading. If labor is necessary to affect the exchange, that labor is in reality involved in the production. And like all labor, bears profit. All labor bears profit. If you put an hour of work in, you get paid for that hour of work. Okay. Now, if you put no work in a product, how do you flip it and make money off of that product? That's unjust. Okay. And that's just seeking unjust gain. Okay. And the scriptures and the Most High denounce that kind of action. Okay. Let me read this last statement. It says, I believe that many of our merchants are seriously under the impression that it is possible for everybody somehow to make profit in this manner, meaning in just exchange to make profit. Okay, I bought this book for $5 and I flip it for $10. They're saying merchants think all men can do that. Listen to this. Whereas by the unfortunate constitution of the world we live in, the laws both of matter and motion have quite rigorously forbidden universal acquisition of this kind. What is it saying? That all men can't make profit. That's just the laws of nature forbid for every single man in the earth to make profit in transaction. Okay. Why is that? Why is that? Okay, because if all men had the same material wealth, right, and transactions started happening. Matter of fact, let me just read this before I explain it. Profit or material gain is attainable only by construction or by discovery. So he's saying profit or just material gain or monetary gain is attainable only by construction, meaning labor, only by labor or by discovery. When you discover a pot of gold or something, that's the only way you can attain wealth, okay, or profit, should I say. Not by exchange. This is what he's saying, not by exchange. Whenever material gain or profit follows exchange, for every plus there is a precise equal minus. Meaning, every time somebody makes more in an exchange, somebody makes less, and thus is robbed, like we read in the law, or dealt with falsely. Okay? Because a just transaction is equal for equal. Not I get more out the deal, you get less. And that would be in turn robbing. And like I said, the Most High condemns this type of behavior and action. Okay? So the more somebody exploits, the less somebody has and are oppressed. This brings about oppression. But it don't surprise me that most people that I deal with on Facebook don't understand this, because they are still in that capitalist mindset of profit. This is what we've been taught since childhood, okay, to get profit, okay. So whenever somebody gets more, somebody gets less. That's just the laws of nature, okay, the laws of, should I say, transaction, okay. Now I'm gonna read a little bit out of this book, Karl Marx, Capital, Volume 1, and this is a complete breakdown of not only the capitalist system, but of capital and how you gain capital, and of commodities and where value comes from in commodities, okay. And this is just surface level understanding that I have, okay, and what I'm giving you is surface level. But let me just read this on page 128 in the Penguin Classic, Capital, Karl Marx, Volume 1. It reads, as use values. What is use value? Use value is the use of something. Like a chair that I'm sitting in, its use value is I can sit in it, okay? Another use value, a table, it means I can place things on it to read, to eat, etc. That's the use value, okay? It's usefulness, okay? As use values, commodities, what's a commodity? Anything made to buy or sell, okay? Differ above all in quality. So he's saying as use values, all commodities, meaning all products of commerce that are used in exchange and buying, are different in quality, meaning they're different in their use values, okay, or they're different in their usefulness. While as exchange values, they can only differ in quantity. What is he saying? Quantity is amount, okay. Exchange values. What is an exchange value, and where do they get their exchange value from? Okay, they get their exchange value from labor. Okay, this is what he's saying. All commodities, because when you exchange something, they have to have something in common. Okay, if I exchange this for this, what do they have in common? Okay, they're both useful, yeah, but I can't put a price or an amount on how useful a comb is to my hair to how useful a remote is. Example. If I'm in need of some bread, if I've been starving for 3 days, I got 2 horses, but I ain't ate in 3 days, okay? And I run into a baker who has an abundance of bread, but he's trying to travel, okay? So he needs a horse. Is it just for me to trade my 1 horse because I'm in need of some bread and he in need of a horse? Should I trade 1 horse for 1 loaf of bread? Would that be just? That's not just, even though we both are in dire need of the same thing, and in dire need of that use value. That's not just. So it's something else that these 2 things, the horse and bread, have in common, okay? Or anything, any 2 commodities have in common, okay? And that's the necessary labor time, okay, that is put into it, meaning how long it took to make like a shoe or something, and how long it take to make a bread. Now, if you needed shoes and I needed bread, of course I'm not going to give you a pair of shoes for a loaf of bread. I mean, of course the shoes are worth more. Why? Because it took more time to make the shoes. So that's matter of fact, let me just read it. Okay. While as exchange values they can only differ in quantity and therefore do not contain an atom of use value. If then we disregard the use value of commodities, only one property remains, that of being products of labor. Okay? That's the main thread, that they are products of labor. Okay? So if that's the main thread in every commodity, that they are products of labor, the only difference is the amount of labor put into each. So like I said before, if it took me 8 hours to do one roof and it take you 1 hour to cut one of my yards, you still owe me 7 times to cut my yard. Okay, because the quantity is different. So every commodity has human labor in it, and that's what is measured to be just in every transaction. Okay. So with that, again, this is all going back to what these Hebrews say about selling a shirt, and you can price it at whatever price you want to. You're far removed from understanding economics. Okay, and I'm gonna just read this last out of the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 verse 29, and it then runs right into chapter 27. Listen to this. Okay. A merchant shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong. Let me read that again, because I don't know if y'all understand. A merchant is someone who sells things, okay? A businessman. A merchant shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong. Why is that? Because, well, let me get to it. And an husker shall not be freed from sin. What is an husker? A husker is a salesman, a vendor, someone who's selling something. It says a husker shall not be freed from sin. Why is a man who does business not freed from sin? Because most people in business are in it to make profits. Okay? And they are doing unjust business. Like the people on the thread that said you could sell a $11 shirt for $25. That's just. Because I could sell that, I could set the price at any price I want to. That's unjust, okay? And sin will be lying at the door. Chapter 27, Ecclesiasticus, verse 1. Many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. Why is that? Again, he that seeketh for abundance will say, man, that's not sin, okay? Business is not sin because he want to make profit, okay? And not understanding that your profit comes off of your labor, not off of, I sell this piece of paper for $5. That is unjust because this paper probably worth 2 cents. Okay, that would be just. But if I made a whole bunch of these, I can make profit because my labor was put into it. Okay. But verse 2 in chapter 27 is the key. Listen to this. As a nail sticketh fast between the joinings, of the stones, so does sin stick close between buying and selling. Sin sticks close between buying and selling. Okay. So, and the reason is because of the lack of understanding of transactions. Okay, and how business in whole is a hard matter to understand if you don't understand economics. Where if you've been brought up in a capitalist system, it would seem right where I could just do anything to make profit, even though you would be defrauding somebody, giving somebody dirt for riches, which is stealing, okay, and doing unjust, okay. And that was an extreme analogy, but I'm just saying you're giving somebody something less, we may giving you more. Okay? You're dealing unjustly, okay. So it would do us wise to understand economics and how sin and economics are tied into one another. Okay. And for the brothers that understand that you can sell a $5 shirt for $25, I hope you understand after this teaching, or after this showing, should I say, that we have more to learn. Okay. And that sin sticketh close between buying and selling. With that, I say shalom.